Well, we do a smoky test. Oh, we're getting a little bit go under there, look. I haven't got that on. It's not too bad. We haven't got the main one on. A little bit creep. Go. Be interesting to see what's coming out this other end. Anyone's walking a dog in the field. Oh, there we go. Well, when it got a bit boosty, I think there's a little bit more denser smoke than there would be steam, but we've got a little bit sucking round the room, which is slowly working its way towards the fan. I don't know whether the camera's picking it up, but yeah, I'm not overly, obviously this isn't going to have the moisture problems that steam will do, but that's everything, well, not maxed out, because obviously this one's only on one. I want to see the cloud outside. Oh, that's disappointing, isn't it? When we get any Comanches coming in. Maybe the Apaches again. Well, that's the old wheels off, which were a bit knackered, to say the least. I've put these ones on, which are quite a bit smaller. The reason is I obviously wanted it to be slightly lower, and it's not going to do a lot of hard work, so they're 200 kilos payload between the four, so 50 a wheel, so I think we'll be okay, and it's not going to be wheeled about on a daily basis, so they were cheap enough for a tenner. Not the best quality in the world, but they are 10 quid. You can't really grumble. They'll do the job. They certainly allow the shelf unit to move a lot freer than it did. So while it's out and I've got it unloaded, there's the story. Now I put all that in front of the door. While I done that, I now need to move that before I put it on the shelving unit, so that I can go and get my I've got another one of these handles, so I'm going to put another one down there because it binds at the bottom a little bit, so when you need to give it a bit of a heave-ho to shut the door. I've still got to put a little step or something out the back, just under where the door is, to cover that gap, because this door doesn't shut flush all the way up for some reason. It does bind along there as well, which is one of the reasons I need to put a handle down on the bottom, so that you can grab one arm, one hand on each one, and give it a good old push to get this up. So while it's off, I'm going to get the brush. I've got a draft strip brush to run down here, so I might have to move these over to fit them in, we'll see. And I also need to go out the back, and the corrugated iron just falls short. It's just a case of you know, that was all it could be done with it at the time. It doesn't really overhang enough along the back of the building, and I can't put guttering up there because literally the door is right above the edge here, so the guttering would get in the way of the door frame. But I have got some sheet steel coated stuff, so my idea is to basically put a lip underneath the outside, so that the rain can run off and be projected a little bit further off, so it will create a bigger overhang And the same there as well. I don't know whether it's a problem or not because I haven't been out in the rain. To see whether it sort of hits the wood and runs down against the extractor there, so that the wood is keeping the wood wet, so it'll encourage rot. So we don't want that. Well, I don't know where you're picking it up. I've got the light on, but yeah, it's a bit of a big brush. You know, idea. Don't think it's going to work. For one thing, if I stick it on the end there, it's obviously not going to cover that gap there. I need something a wee bit different. I think if it goes that way, then it's just going to flap about in the wind. Oh, I see a spider down there, little bastard. Anyway, yes, I think it's just going to be handles, and I'll have to put it there because it varies in width there. I'll have to put a little bit of trim or something, I don't know. Yeah, that's the trouble out the back. Not much of an overhang. The water comes in there, so obviously runs back up there and drips off, and drips behind that top rail. So there's an idea is just to pot rivet a piece of steel along the back here. And we've got a sort of drain out yet as well. Get a pipe down there. This is off the ground, so not too bad there. You can see there's a bit of water holding down there. That's where the old tree used to be there. But what we got? It's a bit murky today. Certainly improved from an hour or two ago when it was just constantly raining. So the plan now, I've got a bit of this old UPVC trim, is to screw it to the fixed side there, and then this side I will attach on the underside a rubber self-adhesive draft strip, so the door is pushing against there. Hopefully that'll give us a little bit of a draft seal then. Cut the wind down anyway, it does blow through there a fair bit when she's running across, and obviously that will cover up any of the unevenness of the door. I'm just going to sort out what we do up there, but should get vast majority of it done. Just got to find some self-adhesive draft strip. Might have to be forced to buy something. Oh no, we didn't have to buy any. Had a roll in the house. Oh, focus. Oops. Yeah, so what we've done is put the trim on, screwed it behind all the fixings, and then just put the strip stuck against there, so nice and tight now. I'll put another bolt down the bottom there just to improve the seal there. It sticks a little bit away from the door down the bottom, but it's done the job. So it's time to put all the gubbins back on the shelving unit and get it back in here again. And tonight's little project is an RO collection device. So we've just converted an old fermenting bin, cleaned it out and sterilised it, and just drilled a hole in the top to take one of those little ball floats, and then that wiggles its way around up to a shut-off valve, and then obviously into the filtering system, and the white pipe is the mains water in. So the idea is when this ball float reaches its top, water's still flowing into the system this end, still going through the cartridge and out the waste pipe. So in effect half part of the system is still running even though the bin's full and it's not really doing anything else. So I purchased this, the idea being that when the pressure builds up in your outline, the pressure, there's a little valve inside here which should push up and then cut the flow off to the mains water coming in. So there shouldn't be anything going through the filter. I've just tested it and then discovered that under pressure this little beggar started leaking, but another application of PTFE tape has seemed to have done the job, but it doesn't quite shut off all the way. I don't know whether my mains pressure is a little bit too much gusto for it, or I had to turn this upside down, the lid upside down with the wall float showing there, so it was upside down in the shut off position. Pressure built up to a point where it was actually starting to dribble out, so I had to hold it down physically, and you could see the water here was almost at a stop. It was sort of not coming out like that. That's at sort of full flow. It was virtually on the point of stopping, so I think it just has to take its time to build up enough pressure coming through to push it in. A valve could be lazy. I took it apart to see if there was anything wrong with it, and there's not really much in them to go wrong. There's only sort of like a piston with a rubber seal at each end, so when the pressure builds up here, the piston raises and shuts off that end. But might need just to sort of have 10 minutes at full pressure before it closes down completely. And the idea is we'll collect this, it will just be the holding tank, and then obviously with the barrel tap I'll just decant it into some cubes, so I can build up a supply of RO water. Well, a few hours later for me, well another day later, a few hours doing it, and we have a near enough full. The valve shut off while I just come back in. I started it, it was up to the print line, which is just below the 1 gallon mark. It was at the bottom of the print line at 16:39, and at 19:39 it reached there. So 3 hours and about 15-ish litres I guess between the two, so 5 litres an hour or something maybe. Might have got that wrong, but and it has literally, you could just hear it sort of, you know, the little pressure hiss from the water. And the valve, I don't know what position the valve's in. Could probably adjust a wee bit more, but I don't know. It works, and so does the valve. And it is completely shut off this time. So happy with that. I haven't got to moan about that fitting. It works, does the job, shuts off. But yeah, at least it works. So it's just a case of manhandling that and decanting it off into storage cubes. So that's another little job, operational, that can be used when required and packed away when not. Super. Where's another little project I've been meaning to do a little upgrade on the panel. This is the old volts amps meter. I'm going to replace it with this one, which hopefully will be a little bit more accurate and tells you a little bit more about what's going on. I mean, it's a gizmo, boys' toys really, but it's just got more information: watts, amps, volts, power factor, that sort of thing, how much kilowatt hours you're using. But as you can see, it's a little bit bigger. So it's around there versus this one. Quite a bit more chunkier. So I've now just took the panel lamp out and masked up over the old hole, so I'm going to utilise part of that and just draw a line off, mark around it, and hopefully I can find my cutting discs and enlarge the hole. Well, I had to take the key switch out as well just to get a line across. You can see the hatched area is the bit I've got to chop out, so I'm going to just find some cardboard and masking tape over that lot, and then put a cloth on the inside just to stop any stray bits of dust and burrs ending up somewhere where we don't want it. Well, that's the new toroid sensor. Had to cut the wires and resolder down in there, just behind there in the black. A bit of heat shrink on each wires and then another one over the top. And it's terminated in there, so you've got the live and neutral feed in, and then the black and plain, which are the two sensor wires. So I've just turned the juice back on, click the RCD in, I'll try and find another separate key. Right, the moment of truth. Take the little dust cover off. That's better, it's reading better voltage now. More what it's actually putting out at the meter. 5.31 watts, 0.9 of an amp, power factor of 0.2223, 50 hertz, no kilowatts because obviously we're not doing anything yet. And I think you press the little button to do various little things. Anyway, I've got to find another, I think, comprehensive instructions if you can read Chinese or Mandarin. Anyway, I lost that bit as well, that fell out. Luckily I did find it. Right, another job done, another one off the list. Well, we haven't even finished and we're already getting the upgrades. Essential sign for security use, you know. Don't want the poor burglars not knowing the dangers they're putting themselves through. And we have, it'll go up a little under the counter or under sink. I think it'll live there, if not it'll have to go there. Proper water heater instead of that thing there because it's not really working properly and it's developed a slight dribble. So off with that, in with that one. That was a bit of a bargain. I've been watching them ever since I've been putting these videos up, and they're sort of, if you're lucky, you can get them around the £30ish plus the delivery costs. Someone put this on for £5 postage, and I think it was £5 starting bid or submit best offer, and I thought, well, I only really want to pay 20-25 quid, so I thought, well, I'll put in a cheeky bid of 15 quid, 5 quid for the postage, that'll cost me 20 quid, and she accepted. Oh, bad move, cost her 16 quid to post it. Oh, yeah, never mind. Learned the hard way. I've done it as well. Well, that's about what we're getting. I just quickly poured that out, so we've just rigged up your favourite toy in it. Rigged up the new under sink water heater. I've got to rejig the plumbing a bit, but I thought I'd just try it before I do a full install in case there's any issues with it. So we just got it on a quick test block at the minute. And just playing around with the heat settings. It seems to be ready. You've got to have it maxed out to have anything fairly hot enough to do much at all, but it's about, oh, I've got it turned down at the minute, the water flow, but there's steam coming off. I suggest about hand bearable, so it's good enough. It's better than this other little thing here I've been trying to utilise. So another little job. Now I've got to rejig all of the I don't know whether I can get that conduit trunking off now because that's self-adhesive. I might try, if Mr. Buster will get out of the way, try and get the heater under there if the socket's not in the way, as opposed to there. It's a little bit bulbous. It's about the smallest unit you can get, but I've got to rejig the plumbing there because the pipe works tight against the drain underneath. So if I move it across, I've got to put an elbow in there and then bring the pipe along. Yeah, just for you to demonstrate, because he's now had the laser. He's already only interested in that. Yeah, so I'm going to try and jig it there, so it leaves us a little bit more room underneath there for anything like the water containers and things. Right, so we've finished it off now, rejigged it, fitted that side, wired in, and a new bit of plumbing underneath there. Just take the cold in, and then the hot water round and back to the tap. So all I've got to do is remember, make sure I've got it switched off when I haven't got the water supply on. But I'll only tend to turn it on when I need to use it rather than it just being on as a consequence. So yeah, I just tried it again when it's had time to heat up properly, and I was pushing at about 55 degrees centigrade in a jug of water at full wax. So yeah, it's sort of just about hot enough to not really need much cold, if at all. Time it's sort of, if you're filling that sink up to clean anything, there'd be enough heat loss ran from the sink, I think. But yeah, it won't need much. So yeah, that's an improvement. Another little job off the list again. Sort of basically the consists of this video is just finishing off all the little jobs. So in case of getting them done, else they'll get left and left. So power meter, RO system, hot water heater, door seals. We're getting there. Pretty much the last foray.